Hello, and unlike in most of my videos, I'm not actually starting this at an airport. Instead, I'm at home in my apartment because I've just got my new Qantas 100th year Centenary Coin Set, which I thought might be interesting to have a closer look at. So I know unboxing seems to be popular on YouTube, so I thought I might try and do this myself. Whoops, which is quite difficult to do with one hand. Okay, I might cheat. So here's the box outside of the other box. So you can see there's the Australian Mint logo there, as well as a few other Qantas logos. It looks like it's reasonably good quality. You can see the the 100 year logo there, as well as this velvety stuff here. So if we open it up, can have a look inside. So again, it's got this velvety lining. That's like quite a nice soft thing there. And then now here's all the coins which I'll go through. So let me just move that up there. So the first one, so all of them, so they have a bit of a story as well as the actual coin. Then on the back there's a bit of a description. So this one is for Hudson Fysh and Paul McGuinness. These two met fighting together in World War I, and they came back to Australia and started Qantas. So the next one, so this is the Avro 504. So this was the first Qantas aircraft that flew around outback Australia. Its main role was just joy flights and just raising awareness of these new flying horses. Next up was the flying boat service. So these flew from Sydney to Singapore, where you could then connect with Imperial Air flights back to London. These flights just from Sydney to Singapore took around 3.5 days, which is quite a long time to be stuck in one of those. Next up was the Catalina flying boat. So these flew the famous double sunrise flights. So back in 1942, when Singapore fell, Australia lost its connection with the UK. So then they had to start flying an alternative route. So they did Perth over to Sri Lanka, and that was a non-stop flight that would take up to about 27 hours in one of those. Next up was the Super Constellation. So these, I guess, essentially opened up Qantas to the world. These are the first Qantas airliners that flew the entire way around the world. And then that was followed up by the Boeing 707. So Qantas were the first airline who weren't based in the United States to get these. And Qantas actually got their own specific model, which Boeing made for them. It was shorter than every other 707, but had the same fuel capacity so that it could fly the long flights over the Pacific Ocean. Next up was obviously the 747, the Queen of the Skies. So Qantas flew around 65 of these from memory. And between 1970, I think 9 and the mid-1980s, Qantas actually only flew 747s. So these obviously have a significant part in the Qantas history. Next up, this card was just sort of a bit of a miscellaneous one. So in this, they make mention to a few different things. So they ordered a few 767s. They combined with Australian Airlines and started flying domestic routes again. They also mentioned this particular aircraft that you can see now. So this is Nalangi Dreaming, which is 747-300, which is painted in the Indigenous art livery. And people that actually visit Avalon Airport, you'll actually see this aircraft resting there in a reasonably average state, which is a bit unfortunate. Next up is the Qantas A380. So the 747 was a queen. This is very much the king of the skies and the current Qantas flagship. For anyone who's been in them, you will know that they are objectively the most comfortable way to fly, and certainly the whole takeoff procedure is the least traumatic experience I've ever had in an aeroplane. And then the newest addition to the Qantas fleet, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which they're all very excited about. And these were used for the first non-stop flights, commercial flights between Australia and London via Perth. And then here's the final coin, which I'm running out of room. So this is also a $1 coin, but it's a bit bigger. And this looks at the evolution of the Qantas logos. So the first one you can see here, that was I think in 1947. That's when the Kangaroo first appeared on Qantas aircraft. And then just finally, there is a bit of a booklet here that sort of runs you through some of the Qantas history, which is quite large. So there you go. And that's it. Yep, that's everything there. So look, there it is. It seems like a reasonable present if that's what you're buying it for. From the point of view of it gaining future value, I'm not sure. So it costs $180, and they're limiting them to 40,000, which to me seems like quite a lot. So it seems like it's going to be as rare as a Jetstar A320. So I'm not sure if it's going to hold its value. I've just got it on. I've just bought it for sentimental purposes, as you can see by the amount of other Qantas merchandise that I'm wearing, and that and that and that. I'm just a Qantas enthusiast, so that's why I've got it, and I think it's pretty good. But anyway, I guess comment below and let me know what you think of it, and if it's worth $180. Thanks for watching.